as the third Deputy Prime Minister, and he succumbed to COVID-19 at Kampala International Hospital last week. In his condolence message delivered to the family by Prime Minister Dr. Hakana Rugunda, President Museveni also highlighted that Ambassador Paul Etiang served the nation, that is the National Resistance Movement government, since its inception, and his diligence and intelligence shone through, propelling his rise through the ranks of government. The president called on Ugandans, especially the youth, to emulate the legacy and achievements of Etiang. Etiang, who passed away at 83 years, served as Uganda's ambassador to the Soviet Union. He also served as the Minister for Regional and Corporation Affairs in 1986 before being appointed as third Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Labour and Disaster Preparedness. The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, has lauded the late Ambassador Paul Etiang, who passed away on the eve of the year 2021. This follows a memorial service to remember the late Etiang, which was held at All Saints Cathedral in Kampala.
Even without his physical casket, the mood remained somber at All Saints Cathedral as hundreds stand up to celebrate the life of late Ambassador Paul Etiang.
God, which passes all understanding, keep our hearts and minds in the knowledge of God and His Son, Jesus Christ our Lord.
On 31st December 2020, the family of the prominent politician cut short their eagerness of welcoming the new year after Paul Etiang was pronounced dead at International Hospital, Kampala.
In all the years we knew Papa, he stayed true to his character of defying normal, always giving, always listening, always knowing about a certain time in history. So whilst right now the pain of grief is what we feel here on earth, I find comfort in knowing that where you are, Papa, you are in perfect peace. I also know, Papa, that you are watching over us all.
I'd like to thank our President, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, for the confidence and trust he gave to our father, enabling him to be a part of the transformation of Uganda to what it is today.
The late Ambassador Paul Orona Etiang served in various governments in Uganda, including that of late Dr. Milton Obote, and NRM government as the Deputy Prime Minister, as well as Minister for Information.
He remained to me the best friend. I was his friend, he was mine. He protected me, he sheltered me. Sometimes I think he cocooned me because he didn't want me to see the ugliness of this life. He was so positive, his positivity was radiated in the house.
We in the Elders Forum, we are in the business of bringing peace. And so we do a lot of reconciliations, mediations, and we have a wonderful group of people.
The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, shared with the mourners her moments with the late and asked the congregants to emulate the late Etiang's legacy.
What remains really in my mind is the think tank we had. We had a group called the Eagles. Many of them are not here. We had the Honorable Jeremiah Nkanji, who was the chair. We called him Katikiro. There was Prince Kimera from Bukoto, the late Right Honorable Fakabulo, the Honorable Batika Ejalu. The remaining part of the Eagles is Sam Kutesa and I were the ones who are still alive. But I want to thank him for the work he did for this country. Perhaps I could just talk about something small. The Eagles used to meet in our different homes, but more often than not we gravitated to Atorot's home in that garden. And one of the things he had was discipline. Every year, he completely went off drinks.
Mr. Etiang, also former member of the Constituent Assembly and former member of Parliament for Toro County, is survived by his wife Zahara Etiang, 4 children and several grandchildren. Ambassador Etiang will be buried on Thursday, 7th January 2021 at Kwapak Sub-County in Toro District. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, as we move forward, Nakawa West residents in Kampala were excited on picked voter location slips and showed readiness to vote. As the aspiring Member of Parliament, Nakawa West, Mukesh Shukla, who is also among those that picked voter location slips, advised the electorate to vote wisely in order to secure their future.
Nakawa West residents are looking forward to electing representatives in parliament that will help them provide solutions to regular garbage collection, sanitation, road maintenance. The residents are seemingly comfortable with President Yoweri Museveni for his good leadership with the ability to secure their future. They are, however, skeptical about some of their members of parliament and local leaders who are seemingly detached.
abakulembeze bana bagenda okujja mu buyinza twagala abakulembeze nga beesimbu zenga piisi omukulembeze w'eggwanga ngenda mulonda tibakisobose jangu owulirizeeko abantu b'omu katale pulezidenti tukwegayiridde mutima omulungi ogw'ekizadde.
As they picked their voters' location slips, they also requested the Electoral Commission to allow those with national IDs to vote. Mukesh Shukla, who is vying for Nakawa Member of Parliament seat, asked residents to turn up in large numbers and vote and secure their future.
As far as BD is concerned, I'm saying that we must have some guidelines in terms of voting. I've seen so many votes getting errored and cancelled. So we are trying to sensitize all our voters in the area, make sure that they come in large numbers and they follow some guidelines in terms of voting wisely. Voting is a fundamental right of every citizen of Uganda as per the Constitution is concerned. When we don't vote, we are giving a chance to politicians to take our life and future.
Mukesh says he is also ready for the day and has subsequently deployed his agents to secure his votes. Mukesh requested residents to trust him with their votes because when he goes through, he will change Nakawa West politically, socially and economically.
And we develop Nakawa West together, irrespective of the leadership which has been selected by the voters, and voters' opinion is final. It is in terms of good governance and good service delivery to the population of Nakawa West.
Now, Kamwinja district is one of the 15 districts in Uganda hosting close to 1.4 million refugees. The district is home to about 78,000 refugees living in Ramwanja refugee settlement. This is in addition to the district's population of about 442,000 people. This big refugee population has, however, had an impact on the socio-economic resources of the district. Government has, for this reason, extended assistance to the refugee hosting districts in form of expansion of health facilities, education, safe water, provision of roads, woodlots, and bridges, as we hear more in this report.
This is a real miracle.
Health is wealth is a common maxim used worldwide, Uganda being no exception. Any community is expected to have some form of health services for better livelihoods, no matter how remote. This explains the joy expressed by Kamwinja residents as Biso's Health Center was recently being commissioned by the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, who is also the area Member of Parliament, Frank
It's a big achievement for our area, and to us here, this is what politics means for us. Politics for us is services, getting what we didn't have.
Tumwebaze hailed the late Kezron Kasaija, who offered the land on which the office of the Prime Minister constructed Biso's Health Center for.
Kezron Kasaija
were really far-sighted, had a vision, and we are now celebrating his vision when he's long gone. And whichever agency has authority over the hospital, when one of the infrastructure here or the ward, it could be named after him.
Development response to displacement impacts project, which implemented the construction and equipping of the health center, was represented by Alfred Adera, who said construction of the outpatients ward and staff houses cost government close to 1.6 billion shillings.
We have now disbursed a total of 20.53 billion for these constructions, for the bridges, for the health centers, and we are continuing to do more.
Kamwenje district was carved out of Kabarole district in the year 2000 and is mainly rural, with one major health facility, Rukunyi Hospital, in Kahunja sub-county along Kamwenje Fort Portal Road.
And some of us when we were in school, whenever we talk about Wamwanja, they would laugh at us. There was no car coming here. We could come through on foot. So we thank God for, before thanking any other person, we thank God for this, because for us this is a dream we had.
Located 300 kilometers west of Kampala and approximately 70 kilometers east of Fort Portal City, Kamwenje district is being supported by government because it is hosting about 78,000 refugees in Rwamanja settlement.
We ask you to extend our great thanks to the government of Uganda at OPM, especially for the implementation of the CRRF. It is a framework that we are implementing to mitigate the effects brought by the refugees influx in Uganda. Significant pressure on the social services, environment, and livelihoods on the host communities.
Uganda provides refugees freedom of movement, the right to work and establish business, the right to documentation, and access to social services, among other freedoms. However, this generosity comes at a cost, as citizens have to share natural resources, health services, and education facilities with asylum seekers.
The project has so far disbursed Uganda shillings 20,538 million for 28 sub-projects.
Habimana Deo, reporting for UBC News, Kamwenje.
And in the religious fraternity, the chairperson, Uganda Joint Christian Council, Dr. Cyprian Chizitorwanga, has said that the absence of the Archbishop of Uganda from prayers organized by the council will not prevent them from conducting prayers for Uganda ahead of the 2021 elections. Dr. Cyprian Chizitorwanga made these remarks during the prayers at the Orthodox Church, Namongona, where the religious leaders under the umbrella body of Uganda Joint Christian Council convened.
Uganda Joint Christian Council started the 3-day peace prayers for Uganda ahead of the 2021 election on Monday at Munyonyo Catholic Church with the absence of the Archbishop of the Anglican Church, Stephen Kazimba Mugalu. The chairperson, Uganda Joint Christian Council, Dr. Cyprian Chizitorwanga, says the Archbishop is the one who set the dates of the prayers, but it was surprising for him to be a no-show.
My brother here, Metropolitan Jonah Luanga, myself, we are moving on and steadily. We also with Kazimba, because as I told you, we were together for a meeting, for preparing these prayers, and he's the one who actually chose the days. That Monday, we go to Munyonyo. Today, here, and he said, I welcome you in Namugende for the closing of the Triduum or the 3 days prayer for peace for the nation. But if he says you don't come, for us we shall still pray in our places. Okay? Because God is everywhere. Am I right? So we shall close our prayers, each one, my brother here and myself in Ruvaga.
Dr. Cyprian Chizitorwanga says the prayers were also shunned by politicians, with each presenting different allegations about the event.
But why would you go Nibaganda Bishop Kazimba Taliu twagamba nti abakulu bano abagenda okwesimbawo bajje enamuna bajje ate nenamirembe terinomu yabiseeko naye bagyeolimba waliwo yankubyakama nti gavumenti yalowoozezza timutuyise batuvumire eyo tibobwaine akoleki atuvumire eyo ababobwaine tolaba oluku kakati wabayigasera bebali ojje bakukwatira awo okiraba naye nga twateesa twegayirire ate tubasabe nekwasabule ogumu atuwe obubwakabwa obw'emirembe.
Dr. Cyprian Chistoranga says this is not the time for religious leaders to focus on their differences, but a time to pray for their country. The leader of the Orthodox Church in Uganda, Bishop Metropolitan Yonaranga, says they have a right to speak about what is happening in the country, both positive and negative.
Ourselves, we have to copy that and then put up our society when we have examples, and then we become harmonious people, but not just our desires, selfish desires.
Religious leaders at the Orthodox Church Namungona prayed for peace in the forthcoming elections, quick access to COVID-19 vaccine, the elderly, the youth and politicians, among others. Sudat Kai, UBC.
Another situation in Busia, the underlying factors of poverty, including lack of established jobs among the youth, have been cited in the increase of COVID-19 in the border districts of Busia and Tororo. It is alleged that most of the population in Busia have embraced the porous borders to engage in cross-border trade, which has, among other things, increased the risk of contracting the deadly coronavirus. The leaders in Busia want government to respond with a COVID-19 grant to the affected businesses in order to minimize the movement.
COVID-19 has remained a threat to Ugandans and world over since the beginning of 2020. In the wake of coronavirus pandemic, a number of lives have been claimed, with stalled various sectors of the economy. COVID-19 veered its ugly head into Uganda through travelers before finding its way into communities. The unfolding events in the country, including political campaigns which attracts large gatherings, affected government's efforts against the pandemic. This has witnessed surging numbers in cases, despite the stringent regulations by the relevant authorities. Busia district is among the border regions which have since been red flagged in containing the spread of the deadly coronavirus. Currently, the busy environment in Busia municipality is a justification that business is back at the center stage, as majority of traders are not bothered by the standard operating procedures set by the Minister of Health.
As from March, people have been suffering and people have not been working. People are very poor. You see everywhere you go, people cry.
According to the leaders, the underlying factors of poverty forced many to get back to their normal duties, including cross-border trade.
Right now we are sitting on a time bomb. Since the country is silent, everybody is concentrating on campaigns. After campaigns, there are going to be many deaths due to COVID-19. Not only on the border, but in many parts of the country.
Busia Municipality Member of Parliament Godfrey Macho wants government to consider a COVID-19 grant to the affected people in Busia district to avoid unnecessary movements leading to the spread of COVID-19.
They're putting up a cost on the COVID-19 tests to a local person, a citizen, to almost 150,000. This is rent to my people, house rent. This is a capital because 100,000 can do business on a border. So somebody thinks, can I go for COVID-19 test? Or can I go and do business for my family to survive?
As Uganda advances its moves to acquire COVID-19 vaccines, MP Marshall wants the services of vaccination to start with the most hit border districts like Busia.
due to the cross-border crossing and the dealings we have and the trailer people, drivers.
The people will not be forced to take vaccine. When somebody says no, we may not force them. Because at least we want to target at least 60%, 30 million at least should get immunized.
Uganda is battling with stage 4 of COVID-19 with over 37,000 cases so far registered since March 2020. Busia health facilities are overwhelmed as most of the patients are referred to Mbale and Soroti districts.
So we need government to put up a good system and a special desk for COVID-19. This will help us, first of all, to do rampant tests on the border, because on the other side of Kenya, we have many COVID-19 cases. The death rate is very, very high. But they are lucky because they have good health facilities than ours.
We shall ensure that our masses are sensitized. We shall also ensure that life goes back to normal. They keep social distance and they adhere to the Ministry of Health regulations. We shall also ensure that for those who are hit, the families which are hit by COVID-19, we do something for them so that we restore their dignity and sustainability.
Barriers and other forms of gatherings, including political gatherings, are restricted with not more than 200 persons allowed to go who also observe the SOPs. According to authorities we spoke to in the areas of Busia and Tororo district, this is another story, as Tororo Resident District Commissioner Nicholas Owole explains.
First of all, before the barrel date or the barrel day, there is what they locally call fundraising, where they used to dance trans night, but that one we have now contained. No discourse in the district, you see. So all these ones gave fertile ground for COVID to multiply.
The situation of COVID-19 is uncertain after the political season, since the campaigns have scattered countermeasures of the COVID-19 pandemic.
You know, when you make a law and you don't insert a penalty for breaching that law is law as it is, not law as it ought to be, not law as it is. It is baseless, it is hogwash. So we think that next time Director Commission should amend those SOP regulations together, so that there are penalties for flouting the COVID regulations. Otherwise, it is a laughing stock.
Leaders have, however, assured the public of peaceful elections despite the anticipated election violence as allegedly threatened by sections of the opposition groups.
And this assurance has come directly from His Excellency the President. His Excellency the President has assured the whole world that there will be elections on the 14th. And that election will take place.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Let's rush in for a short break and then return with the sports news. Stay with us.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Enjoy
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our 3-in-1 My Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100*2*1# to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Get ready to vote.
Dear Ugandans, let me take you through what you need to ensure that your ballot paper is properly marked. On arrival at the polling station on polling day, wash your hands, wear your face masks, and observe social distance to limit the spread of COVID-19. Ensure that your hands are dry before you receive a ballot paper from the polling official. Mark your candidate using the authorized mark of choice. Use either a tick or a thumbprint. Place the authorized mark of your choice in the corresponding space for your candidate using a pen or a stamp pad provided by the Electoral Commission. Ensure that your tick or thumbprint does not cross to the other candidate's space. If that happens, the vote is invalid and therefore will not be counted for your candidate. Do not use any other mark other than the tick or the thumbprint to vote for your candidate. If you do so, your vote will be invalid. This message is from the Electoral Commission.
Munakasada wandiba yatwerayo mu kibuga wandirinze ebyobufuzi bino ebyokulonda byamala okuyikakana mu memale wairayo.
Baba otyachi akasera kakulonda tikakufuna kuona kuboyidi goba wangwire na wangwire baina kuba walala Uganda eje mu maiso.
Oyogere bulungi mwana wange, ebyokulonda bino biyida byagolola aye Uganda esigalawo mutabani embeero banungi obambi tuwetaba mu byakwekalakasa oba kwediima okutwa bulamu bwo mu bulabe obubaka buno bwatuusibwako local initiatives.
Good morning, Uganda. Today is a great day to make someone's day. A wonderful day to rewrite the future. Today is a beautiful day to light up their world. A marvelous day to make a brand new start. The perfect day to make the world smaller. Uganda, today isn't just another day. Today is your day. Airtel Money, with you always. Airtel Money, quick, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. It's time for us to look at what's happening in sports before we do the sign out. Jose Mourinho said Tottenham Hotspur had been rewarded for taking the Carabao Cup seriously as they moved to within one game of a first trophy in 13 years with a semi-final win over Brentford. Spurs have not claimed a silverware since they beat Chelsea in 2008 League Cup final, and they were made to work hard before seeing off the championship promotion chasers in this one-leg semi-final at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Mourinho has won the cup on 4 occasions, and goals from Moussa Sissoko and Son Heung-min ensured he now has the chance to make the 5, having become the 3rd manager to reach the final with 3 different teams.
Beautifully guided into the top corner.
That's it from us. Thank you so much for being a part of us. We're still together. I'll see you tomorrow same time, same place. My name is Patricia Lukoma. A very good afternoon.
educator, your friend, your mentor, and a mother. We've been discussing teenage pregnancy,